Okay, so tonight I just quickly want to show you importing a resource, and I'm going to use a bridge. I've gotten a little bit of an issue with the tangents on it, so not a big deal. I got to go back in and fix those. But I wanted to show you the new feature in RGP Developer Bakin where they've given me an extra decimal point. Now it is a little bit glitchy. The preview doesn't line up to what you get on the map, and so I'm actually recorded this video for a second time tonight. However, I'm going to give you a demo of this. So here is bridge 2. So I'll click on that. And then if I bring this in at 001, it's going to come in incredibly tiny. So I need to scale it up at this scale because I shrank it down and made it small. Whereas this bridge is made at 1 meter. And so if I bring it in at this size, it's going to be pretty incredibly big. So we're going to start with there, just to show you what a meter comes in at 1/100th the size in RGP Bakin. Because they say everything's a factor of 100. And so if you bring something in at 001 of the size, this should be a meter coming in and being placed on the map. It doesn't really work out that way. It's kind of more like 1,000th. But even then, like you see here in the preview window, how big this looks. So if I hit OK, I'm going to get my tangent there. It's fine and dandy. Then I'm going to place this on the map. And I'm going to zoom out. And you're going to see that if each one of these tiles on a stock 25 piece map, right, like there's 25 of those across there, there's no way that is 1 meter. Like, it just doesn't work out that big. So now of course you can bring these in, scale them down, do whatever you want, but the trick would be to scale them down even smaller. So what we're going to try and do now is I'm going to go into resources and I'm going to delete this, because what I found is there's actually an issue with the preview. So we're going to delete that. Delete all. Yes. Now I'm going to add that one back in again. Bridge FBX. But what I'm going to do is, instead of bringing it at 001, I'm going to bring it in at 000, and we're going to try 7. And we're going to see where that is. That's just, it should be a little bit smaller. Maybe about the size of the map, maybe a little smaller. It's really hard to know, because the preview is kind of lied to us since they did the fix. So the only way to really know, see there, it still looks the same size as the last one did, is simply to place it on the map. And you can see here, it really didn't even change the size at all. It's still ginormous. So, we're going to delete that. And we're going to try one more time. Bridge FBX. And this time we're going to bring this down to 2. Again, it looks ginormous on the map. Get rid of the tangent there. It's because the beam has some issues in it. And there we go. You see, so even bringing it in. So I really don't know that they're fixed to be able to add an extra decimal point works properly. It's still buggy. Now, that being said, I'll report this to them, and they'll probably fix it for the next one. They've been pretty good about listening, so. There is the translation error, of course, but. So we're going to just delete that. Delete all. Yes. Okay. Resources. Add. Often you want to close and open whatever area you're working in again, just because it gets kind of hung up in the memory or whatever. But we're going to bring a new one in. We're going to bring in this one too. So this bridge 2 still has a tangent problem because I didn't fix the beams. But what I did was, when I exported it, I shrunk it down to 19% of 1 meter on the export. So we're going to bring that in, but we're not going to go with 002. We're going to go with 001 should be roughly a meter, but it really doesn't work out that way. It brings it small. So, I mean, in theory, because that's 19%, it should be like, yeah, I don't know, 19 squares if I just went 1 to 1. I'm going to try that and show you. So, if I go 1, in theory, that should bring it in at, yeah, that should bring it in around 19 meters. So, but it's not going to. It's going to be ginormous. You know, it looks actually pretty close. Let's see what it looks like when we place it. Holy crap. Pardon the language, but I think that actually did bring it in at 19 meters. So at least in the upper scales, it does seem to be working close. I'm going to give that a count though, because I am really curious. Oh, you can pin this now too. So you can actually go into, where are we here? Somewhere in the settings here, I can actually pin, I don't know, I'll have to look for it, but it's under view. Alright, I don't know where it is. But in somewhere up in here, you can actually pin this so that now doesn't appear magically in front of you every time you go to use it. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this bad boy over to here. And I'm going to drag him over to here, right to the edge. That should be pretty darn close. Yeah, I think I'm pretty close there. Okay, so now let's just see how many squares it takes up. Humor me on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, you know what I'm going to do here? Hold on. I'm going to go to terrains, reserved, 64, and I'm just going to go with a hot block of lava here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh my goodness. Well, that is awesome. So, in Blender, scaled it down to a 19, then exported it at that 19, scaled it down to 1 meter. Then it was exactly 1 meter length to length. Then I exported it with the scale of 19, and it works out to be 19 tiles if brought in at a 1 to 1. So there you go. There's something that actually scales out right and works right. So that's a pretty good guide. So it looks like whatever the scale you bring it out of is going to translate pretty good if you import it on a 1 size, provided that you make your object 1 meter exactly, be it a character or a bridge or whatever. So that's pretty cool. And I'm just going to leave it there for the night. I can go back in and try and fix my tangent errors that I have on the beams on this. But you have a great night, and I hope you learned something. I was learning this as I went, so I just thought I would record it because they did make some changes to the scale import size. Have a great night. See you in the next one.